Park High School for week 8 of the prep football season. A good matchup between two teams that have improved a lot this year. It's the Osseo Orioles making the short journey over here to take on the Champlin Park Rebels. Hi, I'm Jay Wilcox for Champlin Park. It's been a very strong season. The Rebels come in rated number 7 in the state in Class 6A and a 6-1 mark. They look to be probably a number 2 seed out of Section 5 heading into the playoffs. And for Osseo, meanwhile, they've certainly had the best season they've had in a while. Darren Lampker coming back as head coach. He led them to a state title when he was here before. Now returning to Osseo from the head coaching spot at Augsburg, and he has the Orioles at 4-3 coming into this one, and they're hoping to pull off an upset here this evening against Champlin Park. The Rebels very much a junior-dominated team, and they've had some close games. They haven't necessarily been blowing people away, but they've found ways to win against every opponent except Centennial. Both these teams have that in common, that Centennial took it to them pretty good, but otherwise have fared pretty well for the most part. Let's talk about key players to look at in tonight's game. We're going to talk about the running backs for both of these teams. For Osseo, a junior Mikey Criswell, not the biggest guy around at about 5'9", 170, but he's been able to give them a fairly strong rushing attack, and they have used that to mix with kind of some play action stuff and some short passing game, and they're hoping to get the ground game established behind a pretty big offensive line here tonight. And for Champlin Park, boy, Preston Nelson, he got some time as a sophomore last year. He's having a dynamite junior season as a back for them, averaging 7.5 yards a carry, over 1,100 yards already and 15 touchdowns. Nelson has just been very solid all season long for the Rebels. They've also managed to stay very healthy, which obviously is a big key at football at any level, and they're hoping that continues here this evening. Going to be an interesting matchup. I have a feeling Osseo is going to maybe throw some wrinkles at them. They've used some trick plays this year. They've done some fake punts and just some gadget plays a little bit to help them stay in games. And it's been a fun season, certainly for Osseo. And for Champlin Park, they were hopeful that they could be this good and maybe have exceeded expectations even a little bit. And they figure to be even stronger next year when all these juniors will be seniors. But right now they want to take care of business in this last regular season game. Osseo hasn't beaten Champlin Park since 2014. The Rebels have won the last 8 in the series. They're hoping that continues here tonight on their home field. Osseo, meanwhile, looking for the upset. Stay tuned. It's Orioles and Rebels, and it comes your way next here on CCX.
For 90 years, Connection has been at the heart of everything they do at Topline Financial Credit Union. Their team is passionate about connecting with you to help you reach your financial dreams. For some, they're here for your first, like your first checking account, first car, or first home. For others, they're here for those next steps, whether it's remodeling your home, saving for retirement, or starting a small business. Become a Topline member and let them be a part of your big moments. Visit toplinecu.com, because connected, we all do better. Federally insured with the NCUA, Equal Opportunity Lender.
And we are about set for football. About as great a night as you could ask for in week 8 of the regular season here. Not too much wind, cool but not cold. And unlike soccer last night, no rain. At least not looking like it's going to happen. Champlin Park won the toss, but they deferred their choice to the second half. So they will kick off to begin the game. Trace Fitzgerald will boot it away for the Rebels, and Osseo will get first opportunity at the football here. And they've got Criswell back deep along with DeAndre Smith, one of their receivers. Fitzgerald gets the go-ahead, and we are ready to go as he will drive this one towards Criswell, and off his hands into the end zone. This will be a touchback. That ball sailed on him a little more than he expected, and he ended up trying to field it up around his forehead there. Probably fortunate for Osseo that it ended up where it did in the end zone. So Wes Kranz, the senior quarterback, will lead the Osseo offense out. Look at the starters. Osseo offense on the left and Champlin Park's defense on the right. Orioles have had pretty decent balance, but I'll be interested to see how much they're looking to run the ball tonight and how much they're looking to throw. Got Philip Say in the backfield with Criswell. Criswell, the up man, in a more of a fullback position. Fakes the handoff, dumping it out to Criswell, cuts it up, and he will pick up a nice gainer of about 13 on a first down. Osseo, the one thing that they don't want to be tonight is predictable, and right there already showing a nice little wrinkle. Darren Lamker, besides being a good head coach, an excellent offensive mind, and he's got a lot of tricks up his sleeve. So give him 14 on that first play. So Criswell, you can look at Kranz's numbers, not overwhelming, but boy, good efficiency. Gonna hand it off. This is Criswell on the ground, stacked up here. He will get 3 or 4 on the play. Osseo's got some a little bit of beef up front. There's no doubt about that. Dogway 6'3", 310-pounder, probably their best lineman overall. 3-yard pickup. 2nd and 7 here for Kranz and the Orioles. First possession of the night. Osseo and Champlin Park here meeting in the last regular season game. A little swing out to Criswell. Got one block and then was stood up. Nice job by Damon Torque defensively for the Rebels. Third and short coming. 3rd down 2 for the Orioles here. Hustle up to the line, see if they can catch Champlin Park. Kranz will hand it off to Criswell here. Gets to the edge and will pick up the first down. Thrown down for the Rebels by Eric Lukes, but it will be enough for the first down, as you said. Able to move the chains. So a solid start here for the Orioles as they're out to the 48-yard line now. First down and 10. Kranz will give to Criswell left side. Driven back after picking up 2 or 3. See if they'll spot this one at about the 48 of Champlin Park. So give him 4 on that play. You know, again, didn't look like a lot, but able to get pretty good blocking at the point of attack there. Hand off to Say this time. And he's stacked up as he got inside the 45 to about the 44. Lost his helmet, so he'll have to check out. Pretty efficient start here for Osseo. And a 3rd and a couple coming up here. Boy, this is what you like. Keep things manageable. Gonna go to Criswell and nothing doing there. He is dropped instantly. Rebels were all over that one. And stick made there by Torkey, the linebacker. So 4th and a long 2 coming up here for Osseo. Able to beat the block and then makes a sure tackle. This field position, I don't think it's even a question of not going for it here for Darren Lamker and Osseo. Kranz looking to dump it over the middle, and he's got the completion. Nice job to hang on there by Noah Graves. And then able to break free briefly as well. He'll be down to the 24. Nice little pass over the middle. Graves able to squeeze it. Say up the middle has a big hole before he is dragged down. Logan Leonhardt and Nicholas Keenan on the stop, but not until they'd pushed Rebels back there for a pickup of about 7 or maybe 8. Yeah, what an 8-yard gainer. On the ground again, it's Say, and he should have enough for the first down. Boy, a good opening possession here for Osseo.
Tackle on the play by Torkey. Brings up first down.
So football now at the 13 of Champlin Park. Osseo has eaten up about half of this first quarter already and on the doorstep here. Kranz throwing and incomplete. First incompletion they've had. Zamir Johnson wasn't on the same page with his quarterback there and was not looking as he threw. He expected him to quick out, but so 2nd down and 10. It's really kind of almost the first play that hasn't been at least somewhat successful. I guess there was the stick on the run at Criswell, but other than that, they've done a pretty solid job on virtually every play. Gonna go out of the gun here. Now they shift into more of a run formation again. Handoff up the middle. That's going to be an easy walk-in touchdown for Noah Graves. And Osseo will strike first. Boy, they spread everything out like they were going to run from an empty backfield and then shifted into a kind of an offset eye, and Graves, they definitely caught the Rebels off guard with that. There was a lot of room to run up the middle, and they are able to punch it in. Couldn't ask for anything more on the first drive. Ethan Kambangsuk will come in to attempt the extra point here for Osseo, and his kick is up, and it is good. And so a 6:22 to play in the opening quarter. Osseo strikes first. Another look at this one. They were not expecting running. They were expecting might be Criswell if it was going to be a run, going to the fullback instead. And Graves, I don't know if he was really even touched. And Kambangsuk adds the extra point. Boy, you gotta love that opening drive if you're Osseo. They did everything well. You love the execution too. Something like that, if you don't shift right, or there's multiple opportunities to mess that up with a penalty if you don't get set after that shift, and that they've practiced that to make sure they're able to run it, because catching them off guard doesn't do you any good if you get a motion penalty there. So hats off to the coaches and players there for executing that one so well for Osseo. Bryce Hoff will kick off for the Orioles, so Champlin Park deferred their choice to the second half, and they end up giving up a touchdown to start the contest. Fielded on the 8th, and a little reverse action here for the Rebels, and Mario Robinson will carry it out to about the 33. Or make that Luke's, excuse me. And so we'll get our first look at Miles Felton in the offense. Here's Musa Dukley handing it off to Luke's. Osseo not terribly full, but still pretty good field position for Felton, the junior quarterback who's having a nice year. 6'4", 205-pound lefty is a run-pass threat. In the backfield with Nelson. Handoff goes to Nelson, breaking free early on. Preston Nelson to the edge and into Osseo territory. Brought down by Johnson. But a nice pickup. 25 yards on the first play from scrimmage. They've got a good O-line as you look at the starters for both teams. Got a good O-line. Nelson showing some speed and getting to the edge and then cut it up hard. And Rebels looking to answer immediately there at the 43 of Osseo after just one play. And come back to Nelson again. Bounces it outside the other way this time. And plenty of room to run again before he's brought down inside the 30. Going to be another first down. Be a gain of 13 more for Nelson. He's averaging 7.5 a carry, but in this game, to start out, he's averaging 19 a carry. Is brought down by Zachiel there, but the Orioles being gashed immediately here to start this game. First and 10 Rebels at Osseo's 30. Felton fakes the handoff here, throwing and incomplete, looking for the big tight end Axness, defended by Barcinas. So bring up a second down and 10. Axness has 3 touchdown receptions, all of them coming very early in the year. Talking to Nick Keenan about him earlier in the season, and they said, you know, the coaches all felt like he's got everything to be a really good player and just needed some confidence, and he's had a good year. Second and 10, they run option, and it's Felton keeping it, and Felton into the secondary, chopped down just shy of the 20. I don't think he'll quite have enough for the first down, but a great pickup. Should be gain of 9 here, it looks like, for Felton. Third and a yard here for Champlin Park, trying to answer the game-starting scoring drive for Osseo. Felton's going to run it himself and picks it up easily, although cut down by Zamir Johnson. And there is a flag flying in right at the end of the play, or even after the play. First flag we have seen so far. Be a personal foul. So Osseo picking up a major penalty there. Look as Felton cut down right here. And then, oh yeah, he was already down. That's a good call. Say unnecessary, lowering the shoulder into him. So the Rebels in business here just inside the 10, so first and goal. Boy, they have marched down the field even easier than Osseo, if anything. Here's the handoff going to Nelson, and he is going to walk in. Wow, that was an impressive drive for Champlin Park. They had no trouble marching down the field to answer that Osseo touchdown. And now we'll try and tie things up here with an extra point attempt as Fitzgerald coming on. Osseo defense looking like it could be in for a long night based on that first drive. Rebels had a good veteran offensive line returning, and my goodness, they've been opening holes so far here. A little bit of a high snap. Fitzgerald's kick is up though and good. Good job on the hold by Cash Miller there. So with 4:35 to go in the first, we are at 7-7 as you look at the handoff to Nelson, and he is not even touched. To the end zone he goes. And they just ran through the Orioles defense on the way to that scoring drive, answering the impressive march that Osseo had to begin the game here. See if this game continues in this fashion all night long. We might have a lot of offense the way it's looking. Fitzgerald will boot it away. Smith and Criswell back deep again for the Orioles. And here's Fitzgerald's kick. Criswell looking to field it and does on the 3. He fakes the handoff and keeps it. And finds a little real estate up the sideline. Didn't look like there was all that much room, but Orioles did a pretty good job of staying with their block, so he's going to bring it out to about the 30-yard line. And second possession for Wes Krantz and the Orioles offense here. Excellent first drive for them. It maybe didn't come, quite as easier and as big of chunks as it did for Champlin Park, but in their own way, they were just as efficient. Mixing in 3 pass completions. That big one was the completion of Graves on 4th down. And they also ran the ball very effectively as well. So the defensive coordinator's probably not as happy as the offensive coordinators in this first quarter so far. Krantz will hand it off straight up the gut. And they got a little bit of push forward there as Criswell, man, that time, and will pick up about 6. Did a good job coming off the ball again. There's Darren Lampker, and we kind of have an asterisk by that 12 seasons. First season back as Osseo's head coach, and we were debating, do we call him first year or overall 12 seasons as the Orioles coach. And a very successful first time around. And off, Criswell is going nowhere as he is hogtied by Torque, and they're going to throw a flag. Rebels fans not happy about it. Going to be a personal foul. I hate that call, sorry. He wrapped him up, had him, and then, I guess that's the call in modern football. I hate it. Football at the 48 of Champlin Park. Krantz, play action, rolling to the right, throws. Graves has the catch, and then shoved down from behind there by Leo Chroma. But boy, Graves has already shown good hands on a couple of different plays. And he's going to have just enough for another first down for Osseo. He's showing to be a good weapon, whether it's running the ball or as a receiver. 5'9", 199. He kind of looks a little bigger than that even, but Orioles quickly up to the line. Almost had him jumped in offside there. And Osseo is going to use a timeout. And see a nice mix of plays for the Orioles.
The Champlin Park football program would like to thank our touchdown level sponsor, SCS Cases.
Nick Keenan was saying it's been an interesting year. I mean, they pulled out some close games. He said we still probably are making more mistakes than we would like to be making, but getting results for sure. And as I talked about in the pregame, a very junior-heavy team. Darren Lamker, for his part, saying great kids. He loves what they're doing. Putting in effort and learning, and they have definitely taken some strides forward. I think depth-wise, they're probably behind a lot of their teams that they're playing at this level, but got some good frontline guys and calling a good game as well. There's Nick Keenan, had the Rebels in the Prep Bowl in 2019, finishing second, but they've been a little up and down since as well. I mean, not down as much as Osseo, but haven't done as well as they would like in some of these recent years either, but obviously an excellent season so far. 1st and 10, Kranz faking, now rolling to his left. He asks for a block from Graves. Ooh. And he is thrown down at about the 34. Kranz isn't a guy that they're looking to have run a lot, but he's capable of doing it a little bit, as we saw right there. Watch Kranz as he's wrapped up and thrown down by Torkey there. Actually, oh yeah, it did come out. Able to reach out and snare it. They don't want him taking too many hits like that either, but 2nd down and 6. Little swing pass out to Criswell, getting to the edge, pushed out of bounds. Let's see where they'll spot this. About the 29-yard line. Looks like he's going to be just short of the 1st down, but only about a yard short. I was asking about the completion percentage for Kranz. I said, is this accurate? I was asking Coach Lamper. Over 70% is pretty darn high for high school football. And he said, yeah, it partly has to do with some of the things we're running. We're running hard play action and little short passes, and that's exactly what we're seeing so far. He's 5 out of 6. 3rd and 1. Criswell. Torkey got to him, but not quite in time to stop that from being another 1st down. So he brought some extra beef into the backfield there to be a lead blocker. Another good drive here for Osseo. Both teams' offenses have looked sharp so far. Defense is kind of struggling a little bit, to be honest about it. 1st and 10 at the 28 of Champlin Park. An efficient first drive led to a touchdown for Osseo, and then Champlin Park had an even easier drive to score and tie it up. Kranz faking, he'll dump it out in the flat again. Criswell with the catch, avoids one man, bounces through a tackle. Wow, he stayed on his feet and in bounds all the way down to about the 10-yard line.
Tackle on the play by number 19, Urias Kuya for the Rebels.
It'll be a 1st down here for the Orioles. A good play to start, but then a swing and a miss on that tackle, and he bounces through another one. Not very good wrap up there by the Rebels. This will be 1st and goal. It's right at the 10. Hand off, and another nice gainer there for the Orioles as Say takes the handoff.
Tackle on the play by number 9, Logan Leonhardt for the Rebels.
See where they'll spot this, just inside the 5. So 2nd and goal at the 4 for Osseo. Their O-line opening some holes, and then I mentioned some beef in the backfield as Isaac, their guy in there. Kranz wants a little fade, and let's see, did he catch that? He sure did. Touchdown Osseo. Zamir Johnson, who's been their leading receiver this year. They saw what they wanted, one-on-one coverage, and Johnson hangs on for the grab, and Osseo is 2 for 2 here, scoring drives. And they'll attempt the extra point here as Kambangsu coming in. Good rush from the outside, but the kick is up and good. And so with 59 seconds to go in the first quarter, it is now 14-7 Osseo. Another look. Defender just didn't see the ball coming, and good concentration to haul that one in. It was actually excellent coverage by Luke's, but he didn't get his head around, and then his hand came up late. Pretty good job by Johnson of disguising that the ball was coming, so Luke's didn't get his hand in there. And so Johnson continuing his strong season, making the touchdown catch, and Osseo looking solid offensively in the early going. Mainly on the ground, but definitely using the pass to good advantage as well. And you like the play calls too. They know what their team is capable and good at. You don't try and do something that you're probably not going to succeed with. But obviously the players have to execute it, no matter how good the call is, if you don't block and run things the right way. Luke's coming up to field it on the run at the 15. Little spin move there, and still on his feet, but a good job to stick with it on the tackle. The first try he didn't get him, but Eli Hawkins then jumped on his back the second time around and gets the tackle. So Champlin Park gets the ball for the second time, trailing at 14-7. They had little resistance on the way down the field the first time that they had it, though. So their offense got to feel good about things so far, too. Felton only threw the ball once. It was incomplete, but they just ran it down their throat. Nelson comes to a stop, and he is stacked up. Good job defensively there by Kevin Key to stick in there, hold his ground, kind of fight off that block. 6'3", 290. No gain on the play. Nelson had gone for 25, 13, and 9 the first 3 times he had the ball. That time a 0 mixed in. Could be the last play of the quarter here, depending on kind of play it is as we tick down late. They're going to run option left. Felton tucks it up and goes. Did a good job powering through that tackle. Samuel Walquist did get him down, but not until he had picked up about 5. And that is, in fact, going to be the end of the first quarter here. And a very good offensive quarter for both teams. Osseo 2 for 2. Champlin Park hoping to duplicate that, but they'll trail at 14-7 after 1. Osseo leading it here on the road at Champlin Park. More football coming up on CCX Sports.
For 90 years, Connection has been at the heart of everything they do at Topline Financial Credit Union. Their team is passionate about connecting with you to help you reach your financial dreams. For some, they're here for your first, like your first checking account, first car, or first home. For others, they're here for those next steps, whether it's remodeling your home, saving for retirement, or starting a small business. Become a Topline member and let them be a part of your big moments. Visit toplinecu.com, because connected, we all do better. Federally insured with the NCUA, Equal Opportunity Lender.
Welcome back here to Champlin Park. Second quarter about to begin. Rebels with the football here, 3rd and 5. Trailing at 14-7. Both teams have scored every time they've had the ball so far. Oops, we get an early start there by Jaden Oligmuller. Second penalty against the Rebels. So back now to 3rd and 10. Felton rolling out. And he's going to tuck it and go here. Shrugged off one hit and then brought down at the 40. So they'll be about 3 yards short. And be interesting. I mean, normally you'd say punting situation, but I think they probably feel pretty confident they could get it. And they're in their own territory, but not deep in their own territory. So every indication is that they are going to go for it here on this 4th and 3, or long 3 actually. We mentioned Felton got good feet, but he's also 6'4", 205 pounds. Gonna hand it off to Nelson, and he is stacked up. I don't think he quite made it. Wahlquist wrapping him up. Orioles signaling that it's going to be their ball. And they are correct. Rebels thought they could get it via the run. A little trap, but he had to hurdle over somebody. And Sam Wahlquist did a good job getting the shoulder into Nelson, who tried to bounce off it and get forward. They got some, but just not quite enough. And Osseo will have it at the Rebels 42. Big stop defensively. First really big play that's been made defensively, kind of for either team. And so we'll see if the Orioles offense can continue the efficiency that they've shown to start this ball game. Looking empty backfield here. Now they're going to shift again, though. Handing off to Graves. And they'll push forward for just a couple to about the 40. Didn't catch him nearly as off guard as they did. That was basically the same thing they did on their first touchdown. And they shifted out of the 5 wide look into more of a running set and then handed it to the fullback. Rebels were definitely caught off guard the first time around. That time they defended Graves pretty well. 2nd and 8. Krenz rolling to the right as a man wide open, and they get the catch. Spun down is Smith, but they will pick up the first down. Gain of 18. Boy, he was wide open here. Osseo really executing these plays well. I mean, they're running a lot of different things. They're motioning, but they're doing a solid job of really concentrating and running things the way they're supposed to be run. Criswell takes the handoff here and brought down as he crossed the 20. Got about 4 more on that one. So the Orioles trying to go up by 2 scores after getting the stop on downs in Rebels territory here. They'll have it 2nd down and 6 coming up here on the 19. Handoff to Say, and he's met by Torkey. Kept his legs going and did advance the ball a little bit there. Well, he got a little bit more than I thought, too. He got to the 16-yard line, so not too bad a gainer. He'll have 3rd and 3 coming up here. Kranz will hand off to Say, trying to battle through. First contact there coming from Leonhardt. Dukley got a piece of him too, I think. It's going to be 4th down. Fourth and a yard coming up. Rebels were stopped on their 4th down attempt a moment ago. See if they can get a stop with their defense. Kranz trying to draw them off. And they're going to use a timeout. That might have been a no play thing there. They're just hoping to draw them off. So Rebels defense has struggled early on, but trying to get a key fourth down stop here. Early second quarter, Osseo up 14-7. Pretty big swing based on what happens here. I mean, if Osseo can punch it in, go up by 2 scores, it'd be big for them. If the Rebels can get a stop here, they would feel pretty good about it. And obviously stay with the opportunity to even it up. Both teams' defense is adjusting a little bit better after really getting run over in the first couple drives. I guess you had to figure it wasn't going to be that easy all night long for both sides, but Kranz leads them up to the line here. And they hand it off to Graves, and they will pick up the first down as he's shoved forward as well. Boy, the O-line really did a good job, and Graves got in behind them, and he made that rather easily. So this will be first and goal at the 9 for Osseo. Again, they're already leading 14-7. They're also fairly time-consuming drives here. Not going to give the Rebels all that many possessions. Kranz will hand off up the middle to Graves again, backing his way inside the 5. And then finally push back, but another nice gainer. It's not really, what you end up wanting to do is have your back to the defense, but that's just how it worked out, and you just kept the legs driving. So second down and goal now for Osseo. Again, it's Graves and Criswell in behind Kranz. Oh, the ball's loose. Scramble for it, and Champlin Park thinks they have it. Kranz kind of pulled out of there before he really had the ball. And it indeed is Champlin Park football. Rebels getting a big stop there. Another look, you see, never got that snap fully, and then there's too much traffic as Kranz was trying to find it under that pile. And they're saying Torkey's got it, and it certainly looks like it. He's been their best defensive player so far. So they get a key stop. The bad news, I guess, for the Rebels is they'll be at about their own 3, but still much better than the alternative. And one of the very few plays that Kranz and the entire Osseo offense hasn't executed very well, obviously, and trying to get out of there a little too quick. Felton will hand it off, and Nelson is submarined there by Zamir Johnson, number 1 versus number 1. Got about 3 on that first down carry. Go back to Nelson, and wrapped up and brought down there by Wahlquist. Across the 10-yard line. He'll be short of the first down, but it'll certainly get them within about a yard. Both O-lines have shown ability to not just create holes, but to knock their opposing line back off the ball a little bit. A lot of times these guys aren't getting touched until they're 2-3 yards downfield at least. Felton's just going to go straight ahead with the sneak. And he should have the first down, it would appear. Yes, he will. His 4th rush of the night. And the Rebels working their way upfield a little bit at least here. They're at the 15-yard line now, trailing at 14-7, but they had a fumble recovery down deep in their own territory to stop that Osseo drive. Felton is going to run this one all the way. And pretty well defended that time. Stopped him after about a 3-yard pickup. Pretty quick moving game here so far. 4:40 to go in the second quarter. Osseo leading Champlin Park 14-7. Again, the Orioles have not defeated the Rebels since a playoff game in 2014. So 8 straight for Champlin Park in this series. And most of the recent ones have not been close. Back to Nelson. And they keep that pile moving forward, and he will have another first down. First downs piling up for both teams here. Again, the offenses have been getting the better of things for the most part. Rebels, though, were stopped on downs. And then Osseo gave it up on a fumble inside the 10. So it hasn't been all smooth sailing for the offenses. Felton will hand it off. Here's Nelson trying to break out of there and almost did. Good job by Say hanging on. Say what came into this season as, arguably their best returning defensive player, and also obviously getting some good work in the backfield as well. That one was close to breaking a little bit for Preston Nelson, but Say did a good job of getting him to the ground there. Second down and 5 here for Champlin Park. Felton will hand off to Nelson, makes a cut, and stacked up there. Walquist in on that stop again. Nelson getting a couple there, so 3rd down and 3 here for the Rebels. You wonder, they've been running, and they're maybe in a position to try and go play action and throw one down the field a little bit. Maybe not necessarily here, but just in general. Going to run option to the right. Felton pitching to Nelson. And he will pick up the first down as he is out to about the 39. Good job to not block in the back out here on the edge. As you see, the defender ran around and smart play by Fitzgerald not to continue that block. I mean, it's hard to admit that the guy ran around you, but it's better that than taking that penalty. Felton's going to run this one. Has some room and reaches out as Zamir Johnson brings him down from behind, but not until he's very close to another first down. I think he's got it right at midfield. It'll be a 10-yard gain. So Champlin Park's O-line, much like Osseo's, impressive here tonight. And Felton and Nelson have done their part too. This time he pulls it back, throwing downfield for Axenis, and he's got it. Axenis will be inside the 25 to about the 23. 22 actually, so 28-yard gain. I was waiting for something like that to happen and was wide open. Good job to come over and make that tackle by Barcinas there, but big gainer for the Rebels. And they'll have it first down at the 22. Back to the ground to Nelson, this time going nowhere. Castleberry wrapping him up. Timeout taken here by Champlin Park. Minute 10 to go in this first half.
Timeout, Champlin Park. Their first of the half.
So Osseo's defense trying to see if they can slow Champlin Park down and make this an interesting end to the half here. Rebels down 14-7. Again, they're 6-1 coming in, ranked number 7 this week's poll. So fair to say they would be considered the favorite coming in, but it hasn't necessarily looked like it so far. They've done very well offensively, but have struggled on D. And Osseo struggled on very much on the first drive that Champlin Park had, Osseo's defense. But their offense has been quite good, and they had a much better second drive and got a stop on downs. The second down and long here for Champlin Park, 2nd and 11. They actually lost a half yard on that first down play. That was their first time out though, so they're still pretty okay time-wise here. Felton rolling to his right. He slings it and it's caught. Fitzgerald, there were 2 receivers there. Oligmuller and Fitzgerald were both there, and nice job with a hands catch there by Fitzgerald down to the 5. So first down and goal coming up. That's a tough throw for a lefty. You see, I'm not necessarily sure that was meant for Fitzgerald. Could have been to Oligmuller, but you know, ideally I don't think he wanted both receivers to end up in the same place, but they'll take it. And they spotted on the 6-yard line, 1st and goal, and obviously they didn't use a whole lot of time either, so they're very much in a great position here to try and tie this up or even take the lead. Give us to Nelson, makes the cut, he reaches out. I think he's just short. Yeah, he's going to be at the 1.
Nelson on the carry for the Rebels, brought down by number 4.
The 2nd down and goal, and actually in a way this isn't a bad thing for the Rebels. Now they're not really going to leave Osseo with much of any time to try and come back the other way. Say making a touchdown saving tackle. Under 40 seconds to go. Rebels doing a nice job of being conscious of the time but not panicking or anything. Well, now we're going to have a timeout taken by Osseo. So that's their last timeout of the half. 31 seconds to go. 2nd down and goal coming up here for Champlin Park. Good football game so far here. We've had a lot of good running game. We've seen some pass completions that have been big plays, a little bit more so for Osseo, but obviously that completion to Axness and Fitzgerald on this drive have been huge for Champlin Park as well. I like the calls that both these teams have been making too, and again executing. And as I mentioned earlier, if you're a defensive coach, you're probably not loving this one as much, but it's still important to make plays. Even if you've given up a lot of yardage, if you could get a stop here. I'm not saying that's looking terribly likely, but you never know. So we go 2nd and goal now for Champlin Park. To Nelson, he's met, but he fights forward, and let's see, no signal yet. It looks like they're marking him short of the end zone, as Eidsvog came from the outside and hit him early. And now the Rebels are going to have to use a timeout here. Nelson reaching out. He had to have been close to getting there, but let's see. Oh boy. I'm not sure why that wasn't a touchdown. Must have been some portion down that before he reached that. Oh, wow. It certainly looked on that replay that he was in. So 3rd down and goal here with 19 seconds. And pretty good example there of why it's a good idea, if you possibly can, to keep your timeouts. This drive would look a whole lot different if they hadn't had timeouts available. So it's still in fine position for them. See if Felton might consider running this one. Yes, he will. It's a sneak, and Felton is no signal yet. Yes, it's a touchdown. I thought it certainly looked like he got there, and they just wanted to make sure. And the touchdown recorded by Rebels quarterback Miles Felton. And they look like they will kick for the extra point to try and tie it up. 9 seconds to go in the first half. Felton finishing off that drive. Fitzgerald on for the extra point, and his kick is up, and it is good. So we are evened up at 14-14 as the Rebels finish off a very nice drive. That was a 97-yard drive. They thought they maybe had a touchdown on the previous one with Nelson, but no harm done as Felton gets it on the next play. And we're even up at 14. As I mentioned, getting stopped there, maybe not the worst thing, because that pretty much ate up the rest of the time. So Osseo is not really going to have any time to work with here. Interesting to see what the Rebels do with this kickoff. I kind of doubt that they'll kick it all the way off and allow really any opportunity for a long return, but
number 6, DeAndre Smith, and number 10, Mike Cooper as well. Back for Osseo.
Gonna pooch kick this one a little bit, and a near collision there, and then slipping was Jabril Hall.
Number 24, Jabril Hall on the return for Osseo.
He took just a couple of seconds, so Osseo will get at least one play.
30 days to return. So if anyone else has any other questions, let me know in the chat tonight.
At the 28-yard line. A lot of teams might just kind of take a knee here. I don't know. It wouldn't shock me if Osseo at least tried something, but they are looking like they're getting in a formation just to kneel down here. Grands will kneel it down. And so that will bring us to the end of a good first half here. Our score at halftime is Osseo 14 and Champlin Park 14, as both offenses excelling and then each defense getting one stop. We will have first half highlights and stats, and then our second half of football here, an entertaining one, week number 8 of the regular season, and the Orioles and Rebels even up at 14.
Thank you to our supporting sponsor, Scott's Lawn Care, serving homes and businesses of their neighbors in the Twin Cities West Metro area. Scott's Lawn Care team offers services ranging from weekly maintenance to complete redesign. Also, Scott's Lawn Care offers snow plowing services for the smallest residential lots to large commercial projects as well. Thank you, Scott's Lawn Care, for being a supporting sponsor of CCX Media.
Entertaining first half of football here at Champlin Park High School on CCX Sports. Osseo tied with Champlin Park now after that late Rebels touchdown. 14-14 is our score at halftime as we check out some of the highlights from the first half. And it was very much an offensive half. Even though the score doesn't look extremely high, both offenses did very well. First touchdown of the game right there, as Graves popping it through really caught the Rebels defense off balance. They shifted out of a 5 receiver set back into more of an eye look. kick return there by Lukes as they went with a little handoff. And here is Preston Nelson popping one early on for 25 yards as well, blocked up front as well. And then their drive that they answered Osseo was Nelson taking it in. He wasn't really touched on this one. He goes 9 yards for a score, so less than 2 minutes after Osseo scored, Rebels tied it at 7-7. But then look at this, nice pass from Kranz right on the money. Zamir Johnson, great concentration. Lukes was there but didn't get his head around, and the ball just dropped right into the basket. Nice roll and throw here too, as Smith was wide open for the completion. 18-yard pickup for the Orioles. However, Kranz pulled out without the football there that time, and he knew it. Recovered by Damon Torkey for the Rebels. And then they get a nice play action up the middle to the tight end Axness. That one went for 28, and ultimately it led to this right at the end of the half. Felton, a quarterback sneak with only 9 seconds to go, and their extra point tied it up for the Rebels. As we take a look at some first half stats, Rebels have had a little bit more on the ground, Orioles a little bit more through the air, but overall fairly pretty close. And you see both teams with 9 first downs. A couple of key penalties, but then the turnover, they picked up that fumble recovery at their own 3 and marched 97 yards for the touchdown. So that's where the Rebels got that 7 off turnovers. So we'll see what adjustments both these teams make coming into half number 2. It is 14-14, a good one here at Champlin Park High School as we wrap up the regular season for 2025. Playoffs dead ahead. We'll be right back here on CCX Sports.
For 90 years, Connection has been at the heart of everything they do at Topline Financial Credit Union. Their team is passionate about connecting with you to help you reach your financial dreams. For some, they're here for your first, like your first checking account, first car, or first home. For others, they're here for those next steps, whether it's remodeling your home, saving for retirement, or starting a small business. Become a Topline member and let them be a part of your big moments. Visit toplinecu.com, because connected, we all do better. Federally insured with the NCUA, Equal Opportunity Lender.
Welcome back. We are set to begin the second half of play here at Champlin Park. Off will kick off for Osseo. Lukes and Dukley waiting back deep for Champlin Park. Well, we'll see if the offenses have cooled off any here after a rather lengthy halftime break. It will be Dukley fielding it at the 5. Handing off on the reverse, and Lukes had some room. He breaks one tackle and then brought down as he crossed the 30-yard line. Stop for the Orioles by Hall. They ran that reverse earlier, and this one looked like it really was going to open up. 32 is where they'll spot this one. Again, the Rebels were quite efficient offensively in that first half. They did get stopped on downs at about their own 45, but other than that, putting the ball in the end zone. And similar for Osseo, they fumbled the ball inside the 10 once, but other than that, they were hardly stopped either. Felton's going to run it on first down. Wrapped up, brought down by Eidsvog there, but solid pickup. Felton will pick up 6 or 7 on that play. Felton going to run it again. Nelson, a lead block for him. Johnson grabs him around the ankle and hangs on, but it looks like it'll be enough for the first down. Rebels O-line has mostly owned the line of scrimmage, and they're coming out with power to begin this third quarter. Some planned runs, obviously, for Felton. He's carried the ball 9 times, and Nelson's carried it for 14 times.
Here's Preston Nelson. Time a little better job defensively for Osseo. They'll give up just a couple on that play.
Nelson on the carry for the Rebels, brought down by number 9, Charles Lewis.
So opening drive of the second half for Champlin Park, tied up at 14. Rebels deferred their choice at the beginning of the game and then promptly watch Osseo march right down the field and score on their first possession. And after the Rebels answered, Osseo scored again late in the first. Rebels got the only points of the second, right down under 10 seconds to go. Felton running it again. Gets to the edge. Eisvug trying to chase him down. He took some punishment at the end, but he did a good job picking up another first down.
Kennedy on the tackle. And that's another Champlin Park first down.
Football at the 43 of Osseo, so Felton continuing to run the ball well. Able to make the first guy miss more often than not. He's tough to bring down. Here comes Felton again. And wrapped up and tripped up there. Nice job by Wahlquist hanging on. Still got 3 yards though on a play that, seemingly didn't do a lot. That kind of tells you that they're pushing them off the line of scrimmage. It didn't seem like there was really much there, and not that 3 is, the super long gain, but it's going to get you in range to get first downs if you can consistently pick up even just 3 yards. Said that guy's name quite a bit tonight. Wahlquist in on a number of stops for the Orioles. And off to Nelson. Good leg drive there, but he's stacked up at about the 37 after another 3-yard pickup. So a third down coming up here for the Rebels. They have not led in this game. Osseo, as I said, got the ball first and scored, and Champlin Park answered. Then Osseo scored again late in that first, and a touchdown right before halftime just tied it. So this would be, if they could score here, would be their first lead. Still got a ways to go toward that end. Here's Felton running it out to the edge on the left side. And he will pick up the first down. He is wrapped up. Pick up about 7 more, and Rebels continue to move the ball. They're at the Osseo 31. Only thrown the ball 3 times tonight. Felton 2 for 3. Certainly they've got a bit of a passing game, but at the same time, why, if they're not stopping you, they're may just stick with the run here too. And off goes to Nelson, and he's wrapped up. Not much doing on that one. As a stop made there by Lewis.
Tackle on the play by Castleberry.
Give him 1 yard on that play. Second and 9 from the 30. Play action this time. Felton throwing, and they get the completion. Oligmuller, a nice job to hang on to that one. And they'll gain another first down. Pick up a 14 there. So down just outside the 15, we'll call it the 16-yard line. Rebels again trying to take their first lead of the night. Felton running it behind his O-line and Nelson. Say on the stop, but again, look at the good push they're getting. And pick up close to 9 here, it looks like. Let's see where they'll spot it. Maybe not quite that much, but it looks like 8. Just collapsing that line. And Nelson functioning as a lead blocker. Here comes Felton one more time. He will pick up the first down. Lewis rides him down from behind, but not until he crossed the 5 down to about the 4. I think this drive is kind of an O-lineman's dream and an O-line coach's dream. Mike Corton, the former Rebels head coach, who, by the way, is an Osseo grad and played for the Orioles, he works with their O-line now, and you got to be loving what you see here. We're just going to run it down this road all the way down the field in little chunks and occasionally big chunks. First and goal for the Rebels. Now play action. Throw over the middle. Incomplete for Olermuller. Pretty good coverage, although the throw was there. Zakiel on the coverage. I like the idea here. They just didn't quite execute. Yeah, just off his fingertips again. Pretty well defended, especially considering how they're kind of having to sell out to stop the run now. They seem to be pretty ready for that. Second down and goal. Felton looking to run it here. Gets to the edge and he will walk in for the touchdown. First lead of the night for Champlin Park as Felton with his second touchdown run and both to that end zone. And the Rebels, who came in at 6-1, take the lead for the first time on that Felton run as they drive it down the field and get the touchdown. Grace Fitzgerald will attempt the extra point here for Champlin Park. And his kick is up, and it is good. That's one thing that's been fun to see tonight. The kicker's looking good as well, as all 5 extra points have been right on the money. There's another look. Bounce to the outside and then cuts inside. And right at the end, kind of took him down. I think probably a good no call there, as he Malquist did kind of let go and Felton just falling down, and I don't think Felton was upset or anything about it either. So the Rebels take the lead for the first time at 21-14. We'll see if Osseo can get their offense rolling as well as it was in that first half. Boy, they've been a long time since they've been on the field. I mean, they had a kneel down at the end of the first half, but then that long halftime, and now Rebels eat up more than half of the third quarter with that impressive drive. So Kranz and crew haven't been out there for quite some time. Smith and Criswell waiting back deep. This will be Smith at the 4. Bouncing it down the sideline. He'll dance out at about the 25, and then some collision there at the end, but looks like everything was clean. And pretty well officiated game tonight, too. I think you're not seeing, sometimes it feels like they're looking for a penalty on every play, and we're not seeing that. I give credit to these teams, too, though. The way they've stayed disciplined and executing. Haven't seen, I mean, by week 8 you shouldn't, but that doesn't mean you don't. But we're not seeing, false starts and legal formations and things like that are look like teams that haven't practiced some of this stuff or anything like that. So again, credit to both teams, but also their staffs. Kranz will hand it off to Criswell. And look out, he breaks into the secondary. Criswell finally caught there and dragged out by the Rebels. Lukes. Or Robinson, excuse me. "38-yard run for Criswell. And run down there finally by Mario Robinson. Well, so far so good to start the drive for Osseo here, as they're already at the 38 of the Rebels on a couple of plays. Criswell taking the handoff, shakes that first tackle, but then is brought down by Chroma and company. A gain of just 1 on that play. Second down and 9 here for Osseo. Could have some impact on seeding. Both these teams are in Section 5, although Rebels probably could be locked in at number 2, even if they did happen to lose this one. Here's Say bouncing it to the outside. Down the sideline he goes before he's knocked out of bounds. At the 18. Big play after big play in this one. I mean, not necessarily extremely long, but watch, bounced off his own man and then sneaks through. And they had the angle on him as Leonhard and Keenan able to force him out of bounds, but another first down for the Orioles. 19-yard line is where they'll spot this one officially here. So 1st and 10 Osseo. Graves and Say in the backfield behind Kranz. Say takes the handoff and up the middle he goes. Inside the 15, about a 5-yard pickup. Give a lot of credit to these O-lines here tonight. Second down and 5, and looks like Say might be a little bit banged up there. Seems to be holding perhaps his shoulder. So Criswell comes back in. They've been a pretty good duo along with Graves in the backfield. Here's Criswell taking the handoff here, and he is grabbed and dragged down. We did have a flag on this play. Again, we haven't, knock on wood, but haven't seen too many penalties this evening, really. Just a total of 3 accepted penalties in the first half. But this one looks like it is going to be a personal foul and face mask against the Rebels. So half the distance penalty will push it down just outside the 5. First and goal coming up as they got up into the face mask of Criswell there. Osseo trying to answer that Rebels touchdown drive. Right, let's see if we see it. I guess I didn't really hand off to Criswell here. That one not much doing, as maybe a yard. Bring up a second down and goal to go here for the Orioles, Rebels defense. Trying to get a stop. They did get a stop in about this spot on the field in the first half after the Orioles fumbled the exchange. Grant's play action, rolling to his right, now in some trouble, and down he goes. Sacked by the Rebels' Jalen Purnell. Another look. This time well defended. There wasn't anybody out there wide open. He did shake off Torquey's tackle, but then Purnell was right there. So big loss. Now a 3rd and goal, and they're back at about the 12. We go with the handoff here. And that's a decent gainer, but obviously not getting them to the end zone. But Criswell will put them in a spot where it's a more manageable 4th down. Especially since Champlin Park scored the last time, I think no doubt that they're not thinking field goal here. They're thinking go for it. 4th and goal at the 6 for Osseo. Another key snap in this game. I think we got a timeout taken prior to the snap here. Yes, Osseo will use a timeout. Had some long drives in this game, so both teams scoring regularly, but it's also using up a lot of clock with a lot of ground game, not going out of bounds a lot, not a ton of penalties. So how many more possessions you can count on getting here. I think that's another reason why Osseo no hesitation to go for it. It certainly looks like, based on extra points, that they have a decent field goal a game that they wanted to go that way, but I'm not at all surprised that down 7 here, and you've really had trouble stopping Champlin Park. I don't think going for 3 is probably really entered their mind in a sure way here. Well, we'll see what Osseo comes up with here. We mentioned Coach Lamker, one of the more creative minds around, and see what he has in store for the Rebels here. Biggest play of the game so far, perhaps here. 4th and goal, Osseo. Kranz looking to throw. Has good time now throwing, and flags everywhere as the receiver, Barcenas, knocked down, or they collided. It's probably going to be pass interference, you would think, against the defense. Both flags seemed to be at the same infraction. Ball ended up, really nowhere near him, but that's because the receiver was on the ground in the end zone. It's not a first down though, so it's a half the distance penalty, as they call it, holding. Oh yeah, that is a hold. More obvious on that look than I realized at first. So Osseo closer now, but still a 4th down play, not getting a first down out of it. Kranz will hand it off to Say, and he reaches and he's in for the touchdown. Osseo able to get the score after the penalty on the pass play, and then Say fights his way in for the touchdown for the Orioles. So now it's the Orioles' turn to try and tie it up with an extra point as Kambangso coming on. And his kick is up, and it is good. So with 1:05 to go here in the 3rd quarter, we are now tied up at 21-21. They had a shot at him, but Say able to power on through. Torquey read the play right, but he just couldn't quite reach him. And then I think it was Kuya was fighting off a block and couldn't quite stop Say's momentum from getting him into the end zone. So we're evened up at 21, and now Champlin Park's turn to get the football back as Hoff will kick off here for the Orioles. Knowing Osseo, if I were the Rebels, I would say be aware. Onside kick isn't completely out of the question here. Gonna boot it away. Dukley, this time no reverse. And he is stacked up a little bit shy of the 20-yard line. And we're gonna have a flag at the end of the play. Way upfield as a couple guys were locked up. I think it might be going against Wahlquist of Osseo, but we'll see. Rebels were pointing right away. I did not see exactly what occurred, but happened well away from where the tackle was made. Well, that hurts Osseo, as they had done a good job on kick coverage, but Wahlquist called for an unsportsmanlike penalty after the conclusion of the play. See if we can see way to the right as these guys are kind of locking up, and then he comes back, gets a shove. And I don't know. I don't think that was quite it, but that's what led up to it anyway. So at the 34, the Rebels get a little bit of a break as they get the penalty yardage. Felton running it here, and into the secondary he goes. Felton cutting it back, and Wahlquist drags him down inside the 35 at about the 34. 33-yard run there for Felton. Wow. They have just been able to run the ball almost at will tonight. First, early on, it was a lot of Nelson, but now it's been the quarterback Felton as well. 15 carries for him right now. That was the longest he's had, but he's been very productive running the ball, that's for sure. Nelson coming in motion. They run option right. He gets that pitch away. Nelson a good cut, but then tripped over a teammate. And will only pick up a couple on that play. Osseo did a better job defending that one as Felton paid the price just as he was pitching it. And that's going to bring us to the end of the third quarter. It's stayed a good one here. Each team scoring once in the third, and our score after three, Orioles 21, Rebels 21. The fourth quarter is up next.
CCX Media.
Very entertaining football game here tonight between two teams that really have taken steps forward this year. Champlin Park at 6-1, coming in Osseo at 4-3. And we are all even at 21. Rebels on the move, though. They've got the football at the 31 of Osseo. Second down as we begin at quarter number 4. Neither defense has been able to stop the other all that well tonight. Felton looking to throw, wants a little screen out to Nelson. He's got a convoy in front. Nelson bounces to the outside, and he's going to go for the touchdown. 31 yards. Oh, no, we have a flag down. This one might be coming back. Well, this one is not going to count. Illegal block in the back on the Rebels. So they wipe out what looked to be a nice touchdown play for Champlin Park. Good play call there. See if we can pick it up. Boy, I don't know if that one was it. Oh, okay, on the receiver out there, I think on Dukley. Well, it was exciting while it lasted, but back to the 30-yard line we'll go. Really good time for that play call too, and I was going to say well executed, it mostly was, but one block a little bit questionable there. Option to the right, Felton pitching it to Nelson. Nelson ran into Say, and he'll be about a yard short of the first down, it looks like. Seen that option probably, 4 or 5 times tonight. So 3rd down and 1 here for Champlin Park. Option left, and Felton picks up the first down with these. Another flag flying in. Say on the stop. Yeah, I was just saying earlier that they hadn't been calling all that many penalties, and now we're seeing quite a few. Rebels fans do not love it. So they're definitely going to be on Champlin Park, it would appear. So hold on, the Rebels will wipe out what would have been a first down gainer. So they lost a touchdown a moment ago and now lose a first down. They're going backward. Straight out on the edge. Oh yeah, got a hold of the jersey. Felton was already by him. He didn't need to do it, but I don't think you could really argue that he didn't hold there. 3rd and 11 now for the Rebels. Takes a handoff, Felton under pressure, and down he goes. Lewis able to catch up and get the sack. First sack of the night for Osseo. Felton saw him coming, but he was already had a head of steam toward him, and Lewis closed in a hurry. Now, if you're the Rebels, well, are you going for it or are you punting here? Yeah, lining up as if to go for it. And Felton, though, is just going to punt this one. Nobody back for Osseo. Let's see, it's going to reach the end zone, so a touchback. And so Osseo's defense, with the aid of a couple of key penalties, able to get a stop. And they keep the score even at 21. They will have the football at their 20 after Felton punts. Good punt, but it ended up bouncing into the end zone. Osseo's taken some big steps forward this season, and even if they were to lose, they would end up at a 500 regular season, which is better than they have been for some time, but they didn't want to lose. They're playing well here tonight. Grand's looking to throw on first down. He's going to go deep down that left sideline. It's intercepted. Lukes that time got the better of the matchup with Johnson. He was right there and this time got his head around and gets the interception. The only good news for Osseo is that it happened well down the field, so it'll be Rebels football at their 42. Just perfect coverage. You can see why Osseo might think, they're expecting run, as it's been mostly that tonight. It was actually very well thrown ball in terms of being on target, but they didn't get Lukes to be fooled at all on that one, so he was right in position. I mean, it would have been a completion if he didn't catch it. So the Rebels, after they end up having a touchdown wiped out by penalty, quickly get an interception, get the football right back. Felton hardly had time to rest as he comes back on the field. And he will take off running here, and he has some room to go. Makes a little spin move and then brought down just into Osseo territory. He'll pick up 9. Rebels trying to retake the lead. They had the lead midway through the third quarter. They went up 21-14, but then Osseo able to get one later in the period to make it a 21-21 game. We've been tight all the way. Felton looking to throw, wants a screen, throws it out to Nelson. Gets a block. Nelson cutting back, still on his feet, and then Say drags him down at the 21. The 28-yard pickup for the Rebels. They had what was an apparent touchdown taken away on a similar play to the other side. Good patience to wait for Nelson to get himself visible out in the flat there, and this time they managed to not commit any downfield fouls. So from the 21 now, 1st and 10, Champlin Park. Nelson takes the handoff here, and just a couple on that one as you'll get inside the 20. Well, we said no stranger to close games this year. The Rebels, boy, they had some exciting ones along the way. Beating arch rival Anoka by a point, and close wins over Blaine and Andover. Second and 8 here for Felton and crew. Pulls it back here, now rolling to his left, throwing toward the end zone, and overshoots Fitzgerald. Wasn't a lot of room to get that one in, and Fitzgerald, unlike Axness, Fitzgerald goes about 5'7". So got that one a little bit up and over his head. Third down and 8 here for Champlin Park. That's kind of the cat and mouse in this point. Both teams have been hard to stop running the ball, but then there's occasionally going to be a pass mixed in, and just when it's coming and where. Felton rolling to his left. Gonna take off. He breaks a tackle and keeps on going. Felton lowering his shoulder. Say meets him. And he'll be brought down at about the 12-yard line. And let's see if this will be enough for the first down. It looks like it should be. Well, maybe not quite. No, he is going to be short. Wow. He did not get as far as I thought. Maybe 4th and 2 here for Champlin Park. See if they will use a timeout. Does a nice job breaking a tackle right there. Well, Say did a good job of, pretty much stopping him in his tracks and not letting him get any forward momentum there. So it is a good spot. It is going to be a timeout taken by Champlin Park. So 4th down and 2. Interesting to see if there's any thought of going for a field goal. Again, they look like they are very capable of making a field goal if needed. But I think that it's not very far to go, and they've been very hard to stop. I don't think we'll see that, but I suppose it's not out of the question. I think if we were later in the game where it was like, time, it was almost out, you might think about going for 3 here, but I think instead they feel pretty confident they can pick it up, and I might be wrong here. Never mind. Fitzgerald is a receiver too, and he's on the field. So 4th down and 2 for Champlin Park. Wouldn't bet against Felton running this one. Trying to draw him offside, and did they get him? Yes, indeed they did. They're going to give him a free 1st down. Osseo not able to hold up. Well, that's the best kind yet if you're the Rebels. You don't even need to worry about what kind of play you're running there. They get the 1st down via penalty. The defense is going to be really jacked up to come off the ball hard, and they use that against them right there. So 1st and goal. Felton running it. A nice cut, and he's in. Felton with his 3rd touchdown run of the night, and Champlin Park goes back in front, and this time it'll count. So Felton got good blocks, but he made very much the right decision on where to go there, kind of off tackle, and just cut up field. Fitzgerald on to attempt the extra point here for Champlin Park. And his kick is good. And so with 6:40 to go in the 4th, the Rebels take the lead 28-21. Another look as he outran Lewis to the edge, and then nobody else able to get off blocks enough to get there, and Felton able to score it. Unofficially 130 yards rushing now for Felton, and 3 touchdowns. Well, now it'll be Osseo's turn. Obviously plenty of time to go, a little bit more than half the quarter. Feels like things, although they've still been moving the ball, things haven't come as easily for Osseo as they did earlier on. Rebels have started to figure some things out a little bit. But Osseo very capable of driving the field and scoring again. And see what they're able to do with this drive. It's a short kick. Graves takes it and runs backward. I don't know where he's going there. If they maybe had a left return on, but that's not a good decision. And that kind of a short kick, if you're not going to fair catch it, you got to just get upfield and get what you can. He was somehow thinking he was going to outrun people all the way around the edge, and there was no way. So they'll have it at the 25. Give credit to Fitzgerald for a well-executed kick there, too. Kranz directing traffic here. And off to Criswell. He is met. Solid job defensively there by Quia. He comes up and makes the stick for a loss. It's kind of what I was alluding to about things not coming nearly as easy for Osseo. We weren't seeing things like that earlier in the game. Second down and 10. Gonna go back to Criswell, and again they get there. Ooh, they tried to rip that ball out. And maybe a half yard that time for Criswell. So 3rd and long coming up for Osseo. And again, the way Champlin Park's been able to run the ball, if you're the Orioles, you can't necessarily count on getting the ball back again if you're stopped here. See what they have in mind on 3rd and long. Cran's looking to throw. Rush coming, and he's knocked loose. The ball's on the ground. The Orioles do recover, but Ogunti coming around the edge, getting the sack for Champlin Park. Good job to pounce on it, at least for the Orioles, by Weber, but a big loss. Will Ogunti is an absolute stud for the Rebels. Had 5 sacks coming in, and he's able to get around the edge and get one here. And the ball coming out. So they pretty much have to punt here. 4th and a mile, back deep in their own territory. Kranz is the punter. Delay of game against the Orioles here. So for one of the few times tonight, a less than stellar drive for Osseo, and it was a stellar defensive possession for Champlin Park. Boy, and you have to worry here about snap and everything too. We can see some rains obviously falling now as well. And Kranz waiting in his end zone. A little bit of a high snap, but he gets it and gets a decent kick out of there. Actually a pretty good one, all things considered, as Luke's unable to field it, and it's going to bounce to about the 46-yard line of Champlin Park. But a key stop for the Rebels. After they take the lead, they will have the football back with about 4:25 to go here in this 4th quarter, and leading it by 7. Probably see a heavy dose of Nelson and or Felton. I don't think you're going to see them get too tricky here. At least I wouldn't. Here's Felton keeping it. Shakes off a tackle, and he'll reach it forward to the 45. Got about 8 more. He'll spot it at the 46, so 7-yard gain, 2nd and 3 here. Rebels want to use as much time between plays as you can here. I mean, you don't want to screw yourself up with waiting too long and then having to rush, but you want to be efficient and use up as much of that clock as you can. Second down handoff goes to Nelson, and a good surge forward by he and his O-line, and they will pick up a 1st down. Big 1st down right there. They want to add to the lead, but they also want to use clock here if they can. It's funny, you always kind of work on hurry up, but how about work on slow down a little bit too, so that you're, effectively using as much of the play clock as you can without, again, as I said, forcing yourself to hurry at the end. Felton back to Nelson. Big gap. Osseo with nice hit. But he'll pick up about 6 more. Boy, this is where having a nice, effective ground game between the tackles can really help you to seal a game away. Timeout taken by Osseo, and I was just thinking, you know, with the time where it's at, they're going to have to start using them on defense, and that's what we see right there. So there'll just be one more remaining for the Orioles. Good football game here tonight. Wasn't quite sure what to expect. I mean, they played obviously some of the same opponents and some similar type results. It's been an interesting year in this Metro North. Centennial had a really good year, but Champlin Park's been certainly the next best team and trying to finish the regular season at 7-1, but seeing, you know, some good teams that are, you know, the results, you can't really say who's going to win some of these. The Blaines, you know, because the Osseos, Andovers, all solid but not perfect, and the most consistent have been Centennial and Champlin Park. Felton's going to run it here. Little stiff arm attempt, and then he's driven back. Another timeout taken quickly by Osseo. Be there last. I guess the only concerning thing, maybe if you're the Rebels, is Felton taking a fair number of hits. He, as I said, big kid, and they're not, you know, the quarterback run is definitely a part and a big part of their offense, but at the same time, you know, heading into the playoffs, you don't want to see him get nicked up or anything either. Going to be a 3rd and about 6 coming up here for Champlin Park. Again, Osseo out of timeouts. If they get a stop here, they're still very much in a position to have time to try one last drive to see if they can tie it up or even win. But obviously, they very much need a stop, or stops twice in a row here. If you're Champlin Park, do you consider throwing? I would tend to think no. But not out of the question. Here we go with 3rd and 7. Felton rolling to his right and wrapped up, and he's going to go down. I don't know if he maybe was looking to throw that ball, but there was no room to get around the corner there, and Marcinus making the stop. So now the Rebels are going to have a 4th and about 14 or 15 here, and into a punting situation. You'd think they may let this clock run all the way down and either take a delay or a timeout. Yeah, I think he was intending to throw, and Nelson couldn't get out there in time to make that block on Barcinas, and that one was blown up because of it. Champlin Park will use a timeout as they let it tick down to 1:52. Rebels discussing options here. Fitzgerald, their punter. Felton actually punted a moment ago, but that was trying to fool Osseo. Barcinas waiting back deep. That's a high snap. Fitzgerald able to retrieve it though. And then it takes a good Rebels bounce down to about the 15-yard line. Ooh, just for a moment that one looked scary as that snap almost went over his head. Osseo wasn't really sending a lot in terms of trying to block that one, but it would have been interesting if he'd been able to get it away if it had gotten over his head. Whew. Again, looks like some rain coming down late in this game too, so that makes those type of plays even more interesting. So Osseo, minute 41, no timeouts remaining, and they've got 85 yards to go. They threw the ball fairly well in the first half, but not really going to the air much in the second. So interesting to see what they'll do down the stretch here. You might still be able to run it a time or two, but you can't waste too much time between plays if you do. Gonna swing it out to Criswell, and he'll get to the sideline. Pretty smart play, I think, to start the drive there. See if he can get a chunk and then get out of bounds. Well, they did not get all that much out of it. 5th reception for Criswell, most of them all like that, the little swing passes. Second and 5 here for Kranz. Steps up, and he'll run it up that sideline. See where they'll spot him here. He's going to be short by a couple. So 3rd down and 2. The one thing is they have been efficient time-wise anyway. Still a minute 25 to go, getting to the sideline in both of those first 2 downs. Kranz will hand it to Criswell, and he'll pick up that first down. Now the clock briefly stops for the first down, and then it'll wind. But I think in that spot, you got to just make sure you get the first down. Oh, we have an injured player down too for the Rebels, unfortunately. Robinson is down. Holding that right knee, it looks like. Well, Nick Keenan was telling me tonight that they've been remarkably healthy this year, and that's been one of the reasons they came in 6-1. And let's hope that Robinson is going to be all right. A sophomore D-back, getting a lot of playing time for this good Rebels team. Yeah, it certainly appears it's the right knee that they're working on. Kind of gives Osseo a little bit of almost a timeout to get themselves going. See if we can make out what happens to Robinson here over on the right. As he just got a little bit of a block there. It didn't appear to be much. And just the way he went down so much after the play, you're almost thinking it was the other way around, that an Osseo guy was saying, hey, we could stop the clock if I just go down here, but obviously it's not the case. Robinson now making his way off. So Orioles football at their 30. Minute 20 to go. Again, no timeouts. They're down by 7. 1st and 10 though. Kranz looking to throw. Deep down the middle of the field, and it was well covered. Triple coverage, in fact, as he was going there for Johnson.
Intended for number 1, Samir Johnson.
So 2nd down and 10. And you're probably going to need at least one chunk play if you're going to have time realistically to get down there. So not a bad play, but the Rebels were ready and had that one covered well. 2nd and 10. Cran's going to hand off on a draw. Criswell breaking free into the secondary. Criswell down the sideline. They have the angle on him, but he'll be down at the 20-yard line. 50-yard run for Criswell. And here we're thinking they're going to need a chunk play, but how about on the ground doing it? And he showed some good wheels. The defense able to get back and get the angle on him, but my goodness, it looked for a moment that he might go all the way. So the Orioles with it, 1st and 10 at the 20. Kranz had plenty of time, now stepping to his left. Got to get rid of it. Now he's going to run. And he'll be brought down after a pickup of about 3 or 4, but obviously the clock's still running. That one, I don't know. He probably should have gotten rid of that ball. They're going to have to hurry now. Stop the clock with 20 seconds. I don't think the ball was spotted. Yeah, it was moved forward. It needed to be back 2 yards. Now they're going to stop, and I wonder if we might put a little time back on.
Please reset the game clock to 30 seconds.
Rebels fans and coaches very upset. Now they will wind the clock. Kranz has got to beware. The clock is now running. Kranz throwing out to the corner. Barcinas there, but well defended. It'll fall incomplete. Interesting turn of events. The ball had been moved forward, and I'm assuming that it was the official that didn't spot it where it's supposed to be, so that, you know, you don't really blame Osseo for that. I mean, you can't penalize them for that. The Rebels fans didn't like it, but put some time back on. So 13 seconds to go, 3rd down, and about 6 here for the Orioles. The time, the biggest thing though. Need a touchdown here, and then I wonder if they'd go for 2 if they happen to score here. Kranz throwing again out toward the corner, same play, and it'll fall incomplete, and there's flags. Gonna discuss and see if they've got the same call. There's a chance this could be on the offense, but then again, maybe not. We'll see. Huddle up here and see. There were 2 different flags that flew in right near the end zone. Yeah, there was 1 flag in the backfield too. There's a chance this could be offsetting. So now it looks like we're ready for our call, or calls.
Pass interference. Offense, 11. After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct on the Champlin bench. Both fouls will be enforced. If a net 0 yards, replay 3rd down.
And replay 3rd down, offsetting penalties, offensive interference against the Orioles, and then unsportsmanlike against the Champlin Park bench. Barcinas, you watch him here as he knocked the defender down. So 2 different officials threw the flag at that, and then we had the call at the end on the Rebels bench. So this could very well be the last play. 7 seconds, 3rd down and 6 for Osseo, and now a timeout taken by Champlin Park. A little of everything at the end of this one. Boy, now here's where, if you got, your one best play for Osseo that you think was going to present an open receiver, here's where you call it. Boy, how big was that that run by Criswell? They would not have been an opportunity like this if they didn't get that big 50-yard run on a draw play. If you're the Orioles, the one thing you have to keep in mind too, though, is if you get tackled in the field of play, chances are pretty good the clock's going to run out. Even though it stops briefly for a first down, you almost have to be thinking of going to the end zone or at the very least getting immediately out of bounds. 3 receivers out to the left. Graves coming in motion to be a tight end on the right side. Here we go, 3rd and 6, 7 seconds to play. Kranz looking to the left. Now he's going to step up, and he's wrapped up by Ogunti, and down he goes, and the clock will run out. Champlin Park hangs on for the win. Will Ogunti coming up with his 2nd sack down the stretch in the 4th quarter, and the Rebels finished the regular season at 7-1. It was anything but easy, though. Osseo giving them all they could handle, and including on that last drive as they drive down the field, but end up getting sacked there on 3rd down as the clock expires. So really good football game here tonight. Congratulations to the Rebels as they come up with the win. They should be the number 2 seed out of Section 5, I would think, behind Centennial, the way it's looking. And best of luck to Osseo and Champlin Park as they head into the playoffs. It's going to be an interesting playoff season in Class 6A football. Well, thanks to our fine CCX crew here tonight as well. Our final score is Champlin Park 28, Osseo 21. Good night from the home of the Rebels.